It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. You can email us. I've actually got a new email for the show. I'm trying to make sure it's the same name across like everything, so... Although if you use the old email, it'll still forward to the new one. But if you want to email me about anything and everything, the email address is randywangradio@gmail.com. That's randywangradio@gmail.com. And what do you know? That's also my handle for all my socials, whether it be on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok, Randy Wang Radio. And check out my YouTube channel. Also, Randy Wang Radio. YouTube at Randy Wang Radio. Well, it is coming down like crazy right now. This rain has been relentless. We don't live here for this kind of weather. We're not used to it. And I gotta say, I thought the worst of it was over this morning because the rain kind of stopped and it was a wild scene. It was so beautiful and crystal clear. It was still cloudy, but it wasn't like dark anymore. Like it is dark right now. It's also mid-November, so of course it's dark at 5 o'clock. But it was so dark this weekend, even during the day, but it was finally lightening up. I was driving on the freeway. Somehow there was no traffic going into Culver City. That never happens. It was like COVID-era traffic, which was the only good part about COVID. I pine for the days where you were all locked in your houses because I got to sit on that 405 and get to and from the valley in 20 minutes. And it made me happy. But something really funny happened as I know there's more rain coming. It keeps changing, but it looks like it's going to be off and on. And right now it is on for the next hour or so. Then it's off. Then it's a little bit tomorrow. It's supposed to not rain on Wednesday, which is great because I have theater tickets. Thursday, it's supposed to rain, let's see, quite a bit in the evening. And Friday, just a teeny tiny bit. And hopefully no rain at all on Saturday because I don't want to have to deal with going to LAX in the rain. But as we're in the middle of this week-long storm, something really funny happened. You know, I have a lot of apps on my phone and I have a lot of apps on my watch. And I don't remember to turn notifications off for all of them. So every once in a while, I'll get a random notification from an app that I didn't remember I had. And the notification that I got today was from the All Trails app, which is the hiking app. And yes, I know, you're shocked. I use that. I don't use it as much as I should, but I have it. I used it in New Mexico once, and it is pretty great if you're on a trail where you don't know where you are, because you can download a map that you can use offline, and if you're worried about getting lost, it'll send you in the right direction. So I did enjoy that. But why was the All Trails app texting me today? Why was it notifying me today? Because even though it is the rainiest week of the year in Southern California, it's also National Take a Hike Day. National Take a Hike Day is every single November 17th. I didn't know this. You probably didn't know it either. But it's funny. Right before I got this notification, something was going through my head. Because I do a lot of driving in the Sepulveda Pass, the busiest corridor in arguably all of the freeways. It's the worst. It's awful. And I always notice something when I'm spending time in another state, usually New Mexico, even when I'm spending time in the North State. Whenever you're spent an extended time away from Southern California, and then you fly back in, you notice just how smoggy it is. Even with all the things we've done to clean up our air, it can be very smoggy. It can be very just, it does not look crystal clear the way that other towns do, the way that other states do, the way that I'm sure other countries do. But after a rain, and we've had a hell of a lot of rain, and again, this morning before the deluge that we have going on right now, it was clearing up. And the thing is, when I was in the Sepulveda Pass, I saw how crystal clear it was. And immediately, it took me back to a different time, a different place. I remember, I think I was working here, but I was working the morning show, which means that my day ended at 10 a.m., which is perfect if you want to go hiking. Because there wasn't, this was a time of, this was, 2014, 2015, where there really wasn't that much traffic. And again, if you got off at 10 a.m. and you could kind of do whatever you want, I'm trying to get from Culver City to Burbank, and I could go stop off at, I don't know, Griffith Park. And I remember very distinctly I did occasional hiking Griffith Park. I'd load up my iPhone with a bunch of EDM dance music, and I'd listen to it while hiking, and it was a good time. But I remember very specifically going to Griffith and doing the observatory hike. There's like the easy route, the medium route, and the really hard route. I think I was doing the easy route. But I remember going to as high as you can get, where you get a full 360-degree view of everything around you. And the beautiful thing is, after a big rain, you can actually see everything. You can see all the way to the ocean. And I will always remember that. And that's what I thought of when I was in the car today, that, gosh, it's so clear. I bet this would be beautiful on a hike. Once the rain stops. You see, that's the other thing. We're all probably getting a little stir crazy. I know I am. I even forced my dogs to take a small walk this morning because I know they're getting stir crazy, although they didn't care for that because it's cold and wet out. But, they were getting bored. They've been in the house, not going anywhere, no patios, no nothing. Although, I no longer am taking seriously the rule that you can't bring dogs to the Topanga Mall, the Westfield Topanga. We take our dogs to the Village, the outdoor mall, all the time. But anytime you go to the website for the Westfield Topanga, it says don't bring dogs. Unless they're service animals, you can't bring dogs to this mall. You can't bring dogs to Topanga Social or any of the stores. And we went to the Topanga Mall this weekend. We did not bring our dogs because we didn't think we could. And guess what? Everybody else did. More on that later. But I was getting stir crazy. I can do my treadmill walking, but I really love being outdoors. And I think we all right now need something to look forward to, as I'm sure you've been trapped inside your home for days and days and days with this endless rain. So even though it's silly, because it's the worst kind of weather to be thinking about this, what we're doing is planning ahead. It's going to be nice this weekend, probably. I won't be here. But sure, it's supposed to be very nice starting next week. Look at this. Starting Sunday, it's going to be sunny with a high of 68, 69. That's perfect hiking weather. And we've done this before, and it's time to do it again. I'm sure you know of a great hiking trail anywhere in the Southern California area that you'd like to share. I have a few, although they're more obvious than others. But I know lots of people go to Griffith. I know lots of people go to Runyon. But unless you're in Hollywood and Los Feliz, traffic makes it very difficult to get to those places unless you have a job that ends at 10 a.m. So if there's a great place to go hiking in your neck of the woods, maybe it's near the beach, maybe it's near the mountains. We have every kind of possible topography you could want in Southern California. It's one of the reasons that we all pay through the nose to live here, because it can be so darn beautiful sometimes, especially after a horribly long rainstorm. So I am opening up the phones. You have an opportunity right now to call in. The phone number is 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. And all you got to do to play along is tell me on National Take a Hike Day Where's a great place in Southern California to take a hike? Where do you like to go hiking? And if it is Griffith or Runyon, we'll give it a shout out because we're going to celebrate the beautiful things we can do outdoors next week. Not this week, but next week. So I'll tell you some of the places that I go to. I don't go to nearly as many as I should. And it's not that I'm lazy. I am lazy. I don't like driving. I don't like sitting in traffic. But even more than that, the noon to 3 show schedule makes it very difficult to do anything before the noon to 3 show. And then having a 5 o'clock show makes it very difficult to do anything in between the 3 o'clock and the 5 o'clock show. My day is pretty much shot. And so I can do some walking around the neighborhood. I've got my treadmill, I've got my Peloton, but making a whole excursion, maybe on a Monday morning, it can be done because for some reason traffic on Mondays is just a little lighter. And I have made the occasional excursion, but I'm not going more than 20 minutes. Weekends, I could definitely do more. I don't as much as I should because my wife goes and rides her horse, but I need to be inspired to. So you want to share with me a place that you like to go hiking? Give us a call. 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Let me start with the one that I discovered most recently. It was about a year ago, and it's in the valley just south of the boulevard. You go to Ventura, and you go to Reseda, and you're in Tarzana. And you're going to go south on Reseda, which I'd never done before. And you go down for about a mile and a half. You get close to the country club over there. There's actually a few of them. But at some point, you get to Caballero Canyon. And Caballero Canyon, I feel like, is this hidden gem of the West Valley that not that many people know. It's not the biggest trail. It's only about 1.5 miles. It's not too much elevation, but it's beautiful out there. It is completely, as soon as you get to the part where you walk off of the path that starts from the street, oh my goodness, you're completely removed. And I'm sure after a bunch of rain, it's going to be beautiful out there. But Caballero Canyon is a really fun one. I really liked it, and I would definitely go back. It was good for the dogs, too. That's a really fun one. Many years ago, one of the best hikes I ever went on in Southern California was in the La Cañada Flint Ridge area at a place called Switzer Falls, because one day after a nice brunch, we wanted to walk to a waterfall. Switzer Falls is great. It is beautiful. I have 2 very distinct memories. Now, I was in much worse shape then, because this is about a decade ago. And I had really cheap shoes. And you know what happens if you're not in good shape and you have cheap shoes? When you're walking on uneven surfaces, sometimes you twist your ankle, which I did at the beginning of the hike. But we already had driven all the way out there. What were we supposed to do? Turn around? Plus, my wife kept calling me a pansy for complaining about it. So we kept going. It was gorgeous. I walked off the pain. I have since learned to get really good shoes. And if you're going to go hiking, get hiking shoes. Don't just wear sneakers. Get shoes that have good traction, because I am a pretty huge coward when it comes to not having sound footing. One time, again, back in the crappy shoes era. In fact, this is when I started buying good shoes, was because I used to buy cheap, like $40 Nikes, ones that you'd get at like Kohl's. And my wife went hiking with me and her mom and our roommate to Mount Lee so we could go see the Hollywood sign. And the footing was so bad going down that I was so freaked out because my shoes were so terrible and I was slipping and sliding. I boot scooted the whole way down. I sat down on my butt. I ruined those shorts. It was a mess. Again, I have learned. I have much better shoes now. But yeah, that's a beautiful one. When I lived in Burbank, and oh my goodness, there are not that many regrets I have in my life. I always feel like every mistake I've ever made has led me to become the person that I am. And every decision, even if it was incredibly stupid, turned me to the point where I am today. That being said, moving out of Burbank was a terrible idea. Now, we had to because, we weren't going to live with the roommate anymore, and we weren't in a position to buy at this point, and we were just renting. But we lived in Burbank near the foothills, like near Alameda and Glen Oaks, a little further back, in between Glen Oaks and Sunset Canyon. You could walk from the house we lived in Burbank to Wildwood Canyon, which is Burbank's beautiful neighborhood trail. It's gorgeous. I didn't take advantage of it. I think we went twice in the 4 or 5 years I lived there. I would use that every day if I lived there now. If I stay in Southern California, I'd get back to Burbank. I'm sure there's, this is a whole other topic for another day, but if I don't have to drive to Culver City every day and I could choose where I get to live in Southern California, we're going to do a whole hour on you selling me on your city because I'm sick of the valley. There's nothing to do here. And to the point, none of these things are close to where I am. The closest one is Caballero Canyon. Yeah, there's Lake Balboa in the Sepulveda Basin, but you don't go there. There's way too many homeless people. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. When I lived in Valley Village, Studio City, Fryman Canyon, love Fryman Canyon, the butt killer. That first initial hike where you're going all the way up, it's a good one. Fryman Canyon's a good time, although I'm sure it is way more expensive to park than when I went 15 years ago. So that's just a few of the places that I've been hiking over the years. I know it's the wrong weather to talk about this, but it's a national day and we're going to have to take advantage of it. It is National Take a Hike Day. If you want to shout out a great place to take a hike in Southern California next week, after the rain clears, when it's going to be beautiful out and crystal clear, give us a call. 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. You can email us as well at randywangradio@gmail.com. Let's start with Bobby and Dana Point. Bobby, hello.
Hello. I think the most beautiful hike ever in California is down by Temecula, Murrieta. It's called the Santa Rosa Plateau, and I heard it was once owned by Ronald Reagan years ago. But the closest landmark next to it is the Bear Creek Golf Course. So it's on Clinton Keith Road, but the Bear Creek Golf Course was designed by Jack Nicklaus, and the Santa Rosa Plateau is right next door. It's the most beautiful hike, and after the rain, it looks like Ireland. These pasture hills turn green, and it's so beautiful you feel like you're walking in Ireland.
Well, that sounds right up my alley, considering I'm actually going to Ireland in about 6 weeks, but that sounds fantastic. The Santa Rosa Plateau in Murrieta, Temecula.
Exactly. Now, can I give you one trail to avoid this month?
Yes.
In Lake Forest, the Whiting Ranch has mountain lions again, and they've been stalking the people. So this is a good month to avoid the Whiting Ranch in Lake Forest because they have a history of mountain lion problems in the past.
Well, and the mountain lions are getting a little more aggressive than they used to be, which, yeah, it can be a little disconcerting. I don't want a whole lot of wildlife on my trail. I want to look at pretty trees, I want to see pretty sights, but I don't really want to interact with anything larger than a squirrel.
Exactly.
Well, thanks so much for the suggestion, Bobby. Appreciate it. That's all you got to do, folks. I know it's raining like crazy, but it's National Take a Hike Day. And as soon as this rain clears up, it's going to be a perfect time to go hiking because you'll actually be able to see all the way to the ocean. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Is there a hiking trail that you want to give a shout out to, a hiking trail you love in Southern California? Tell us all about it. 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-5222. If you're on hold, stay on hold to get to more of your calls. Next, it's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. I know it's raining like crazy, but believe it or not, today is National Take a Hike Day, where we celebrate the beautiful trails in Southern California. So it's going to get real nice in about a week. And because it rains so much, it's going to be crystal clear, perfect to get up on some elevation and see the sights. So if you've got a hike you want to shout out in Southern California, give us a call, 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. If you're on hold, stay right there. We're getting right back to the calls next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222, your emails at new email address. Your emails at randywangradio@gmail.com. In fact, that's the same way you can follow me on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Randy Wang Radio, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, YouTube, Randy Wang Radio. I'd appreciate the subscribe. Today is pouring. It is soaking. It is awful. It is gloomy. You're probably going stir crazy. And then on top of all that, you've got hiking apps telling you that today is National Take a Hike Day. Well, that's not fair. But here's the beautiful thing. One of the nice things about a rain is that as soon as the rain is gone, in a couple of days, like this weekend, it's going to be gorgeous out. It's going to be crystal clear. The hills are going to be green because of all the rain, and it's actually going to be the perfect time to go on a hike. So we're going to celebrate the hiking trails of Southern California. You want to share a place you love to go hiking, give us a call, 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Let's start with patiently holding Gus in Orange County. Gus, hello.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Hello? Yeah.
You're on the air.
Well, I'm an Orange County guy, and I can't give just one. I'm actually driving home from a 10-mile run I did around Newport Back Bay, which is really nice. There's a place called Harding Truck Trail off the Santiago Canyon Road, which is a great trail, really intense. Crystal Cove State Park has a lot of nice places to hike. And for the more soft and succulent people, just about any place on the beach, there's a trail, a paved trail that goes along the beach. So lots of places in Orange County.
Oh, I'm jealous of you already because it sounds like not only because it's easier to get around all over there, there's just so much gorgeous scenery everywhere you go. And any of the beach towns have great hiking.
They do.
Well, thanks so much for calling in, buddy. I appreciate it. That's Gus in Orange County. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. It's time to shout out your favorite places to take a hike. Let's go to Kieran in Pasadena. Kieran, hello.
Hello. It's an honor to be on your show. I hope you can hear me because something's going on with the weather right here. But Mount San Jacinto is amazing hike. It's out there. You take the Palm Springs tramway up a very long way, and it's really fun, and it's easy to hike. And then you take the hike from there all the way up to the top of Mount San Jacinto. The last 200 feet is a little bit tough. You're walking on rocks, but you're going up to almost 11,000 feet. And when you get up there, for all the flat earthers out there, you can clearly see the curvature of the earth on a clear day. It's an amazing hike. You want to have a couple of quarts of water with you, and you'll be changed.
That sounds incredible. That does sound like a life-affirming kind of hike.
Yeah, for all the flat earthers out there, that will change their mind. Okay, thank you so much.
That sounds like a blast. Karen, thank you so much for the suggestion. We really appreciate it. That's all you got to do, folks. If you love hiking and you want it to inspire somebody that's going stir crazy right now for something to look forward to when all this rain clears up, give us a call, 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to John in Long Beach. John, hello.
Randy, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Oh, that's good. I'm getting soaked driving back from Santa Monica. Anyway, okay, over by Palos Verdes, the back, if you take Hawthorne Boulevard all the way to where it ends, all above there, above all the way back to the Trump Golf Course and all along there, there's a hiking trail. And if you go back down Palos Verdes Drive a little farther, Abalone Cove Park. You park there and you walk down to the beach, and you can walk all along the beach and the rocks right there. It's pretty phenomenal. And, of course, the gentleman mentioned Crystal Cove State Park. I go there a lot. That's a really good hike. And if you want a little something in the city, El Dorado Park in Long Beach has the El Dorado Nature Center. And literally, if somebody blindfolded you and took you in there and they told you you were in Long Beach, you wouldn't believe them. Because it's nothing but big, huge trees and a couple of little lakes, and it's really, really very cool. And then, of course, Belmont Shore, you can go down and get on the bike and the walking trail that they have next to it, and you can walk all the way through Belmont Shore, down by Shoreline Drive, down by Shoreline Village, and up over the bridge to the Queen Mary and back. So there's a lot of good hiking options over there. And Palos Verdes, there's quite a few if you get back up that way. And I don't think I heard anybody mention Chino Hills State Park out near Chino, going out the 10 up to the 71. That is a great hike also. It's a beautiful park.
Boy, you got a ton of them. You know, it's funny. I did what you said. I'm looking at pictures of El Dorado Park Estates in Long Beach. You would never be able to tell that that's Long Beach. It is so beautiful.
Well, they shot most of Dexter and CSI Miami there in Long Beach, and a lot of Dexter was shot back in the El Dorado Park Nature Center in there, because you cannot, literally, you get in there, you can't tell where you are. You look like you're in a forest somewhere because you are. Then they just redid a lot of work in there, and they have a 1 mile and a 2 mile hike, and the 2 mile is not all flat. You're going up inclines and down hills and around, and it's really, really a cool place. It's right off the 605 freeway at Spring Street, and you just turn left into the park, and it's right there. And it's a great, great hike. I go there a lot. I go to Bolsa Chica State Beach and walk there across the street. Yeah, and across the street at the Bolsa Chica wetlands, where all the migrating birds are, that's a really cool place. And then if you want to venture farther into Orange County, the gentleman was saying off of Santiago Canyon, you have Irvine Park out there, near Irvine Lake. That's got a lot of really good hiking trails. There's a lot of really good spots all over the place. And, of course, near L.A., right by Dodger Stadium, Elysian Park has some great hiking trails. I've been there quite a bit, too. I've been all over. I walk a lot, so I go to all those places. And it's always a new adventure. Every time you go, you discover something different.
It's one of the beautiful things about living here. I think I wrote down almost all of them, but the nice thing is there will be a podcast of this, so you can just hit the rewind button later on if you want to get a list of all of John's spots. Though you've got me inspired to do some great hiking as soon as I get back to California after Thanksgiving, but I'll be doing some in New Mexico over Thanksgiving.
What is your podcast again, Randy?
Oh, it's the podcast of this show, the KABC News Blitz. You search for the KABC News Blitz. This episode will be posted at 6 o'clock, and then you can hear all of these suggestions and write them down.
Great. Fantastic. All right, buddy. Nice to talk to you.
Always nice to talk to you, John. That's John in Long Beach, this El Dorado Park Estates. I'm actually, now that I see some of the pictures, I am recognizing some of the scenery from Dexter. That is wild. It is National Take a Hike Day. I know. Who came up with this? It is pouring rain, But that rain's going to go away, and then it's going to be crystal clear out and a perfect day for a hike. So if you get a hiking trail in Southern California you want to give some love to, then give us a call. 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. It's National Take a Hike Day, and we all need a little escapism from this rain. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's get back to the phones. Go to Dale in Long Beach. Dale, hello.
Hey, Randy, look up hiking trails on Catalina Island. There's just too many for me to mention. There's a 38-mile trek across the island. Typically takes 3 to 5 days with ocean scenic views and camping options.
Oh, that is definitely above my expertise, but that does sound like an incredible trip.
They have a botanical garden path. It's 3.58 miles. It goes past the Wrigley Memorial, and it's the botanical gardens. They have so many that's listed. It's unbelievable.
That definitely sounds more my speed, but yeah, I got to get out to Catalina. That's going to be a bucket list item for next year. I've been meaning to do it forever, and knowing that there's good hiking out there just makes me want to go even more. Thanks so much for the call, Dale. Appreciate it. Let's go to Mike in Laguna Beach. Mike, hello.
Yeah, hey, I have a couple of trails down here. Laguna, top of the world. You could see 230 degrees ocean from San Diego to Palos Verdes, and then there's trails. And then the second one is around Lake Mission Viejo, where they did the Olympics, and they've got a trail around it. It's a 5K, 3.2 miles, and it's awesome. And then my last one is go on Laguna Canyon Road from Pacific Coast Highway inland about a quarter of a mile, maybe half a mile, but it's on the left. And you park in a safe parking lot, and you can go all through the hills up and around Laguna Canyon Road. Okay, have fun. Great places.
That sounds like a blast, Mike. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. I need to spend more time in Orange County. At some point, I'm leaving the Valley. Might leave California altogether. Well, not full time. Like I have to come here for events and stuff. But if I could live in Orange County, oh, I would. There's so much beautifulness there. Long Beach, too. Long Beach would be central to everything. Oh, I need to start daydreaming again. Got to get out of the dumpy valley, I'll tell you that very much. Although we do have a few good trails here. Hey, I got something special for you. 790 KABC welcomes Train Drops of Jupiter, 25 years in the atmosphere at the Greek Theater, August 24th, 2026. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. If you'd like to email us, you can do so. We've got a new email address for the show, randywangradio@gmail.com. That's randywangradio@gmail.com. John writes in and sent me a gorgeous picture of a hike that you can do above the Castaway Restaurant in Burbank. That is such a fun restaurant. I haven't been there in years. I miss Burbank. If I was going to stay in the valley, it'd be Burbank. Although there is a lot of Woodland Hills that I really like too. I don't know. I'm in Lake Balboa. There's nothing to do here. I want to live somewhere where I can walk to something, whether it's hiking, whether it's restaurants. When I lived in downtown Burbank, we had all of that. And we weren't like in the city. We were up in the foothills, but you could walk down to the city. It was pretty darn cool. But new email address for the show, randywangradio@gmail.com. That's randywangradio@gmail.com. I figure I should streamline and make sure all of my handles for all of my socials are the same thing. So, hey, if you want to get on all of them, I don't know which services you have, but the email is randywangradio@gmail.com. On Twitter or X, whatever they call it, you do x.com/randywangradio. Instagram. I do a lot of Instagramming. I'm at Randy Wang Radio. I just joined TikTok because everybody is, and why not? And by the way, this is wild because I think I have like 9 followers on TikTok, but I posted a 7-second video this morning of me searing tuna on the cast iron, and it has 1,000 views. I have no idea how any of this works, but apparently there's a lot of people on TikTok, and 1,000 people, at least for a half a second, watched me searing tuna. So that's fun. Yeah, posting a lot of cooking content and everything else, and, eventually more show content as well. So Randy Wang Radio across the board, and my YouTube channel, which I haven't used in a decade, I have rebranded. So Randy Wang Radio on YouTube. You can find me there, and you can find a whole bunch of videos that I'll be posting. Thank you all so much for being a part of this show. We love your calls. We love your emails. Make sure you tell all your friends about this show as well. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.